What's going on, guys? Dropadooski here. Today I want to go over the state of the four-man and solo meta quickly to give you guys kind of what I would assume is a wrap-up in regards to the PTR. I think we're not going to get very much more out of the PTR outside of the Hail Mary from Blizzard. The assumption is right now that the patch will go live on Tuesday, with the season wrapping up this Friday, giving us 3 days to do the Darkening of Tristram event and other things non-seasonal before Season 9 begins on January 6th. So, first thing I'm going to jump into is a look at the four-man meta. Some of you guys have probably seen my four-man meta tracker video. That is no longer current, and the update that stands now is that the four-man meta is looking to be very much the same as the last couple of seasons. So with the nerf to the barber and the great killing of the lawn witch doctor, it's looking like the best route currently is still a damage monk, damage firebats witch doctor, and then a support monk and support barb. Let's go to normal here. As you see, the very top group here is running that setup. They've done a 110. Paragons are very high here because it's normal and not seasonal. I typically stick to seasonal, but with this one, just in regards to the state of the current classes, I believe that it's going to stay the same. So with that being said, it's good to, if you have run heavily in the past couple of seasons and done a lot of group play, to keep some variety in it. Maybe try something different. If you played support barb last season, play, support monk or damage monk. Put a little variety into it so that you have something that you can still learn from and experience from a different perspective with a meta that's staying the same. It's really a shame that the lawn witch doctor got nerfed as hard as it did. But I do know that Blizzard has come out and talked about this a few times, that they do not want a 3 support meta coming back into the game. They've got a real goal for more people having the ability to kill demons in Greater Rifting as part of a group setup. So with this being said, I think these are definitely going to be the main classes for the 4-man groups for Season 9. This is also, I do want to point out, this is also the hardest portion of the meta to track pre-season. There are a lot of the highly competitive groups will run straight through the Greater Rift and not kill the boss on different variations to try and keep that competitive angle in regards to the other high-level groups that are constantly watching the PTR leaderboards, consistently testing things on the PTR leaderboards. So if there are updates to this as the season starts to unfold, I will put out videos about the 4-man meta, where it stands, what you can expect, or what you should be gearing for if you want to stay current with the strongest setup for the 4-man groups. Jumping into solo, the Barbarian. Lots and lots of whirlwinds on the Barbarian currently. So if we switch over to Barb here, sorry, the PTR has been a little laggy lately. We've got a whole bunch of whirlwind barbs at the top, with also some mixed in earthquake sets and other charge barbs and some lawns as well. So one thing that I do want to point out and say that I really like about the route that's been going in regards to the changes to Diablo 3 is that a lot of classes have a lot of things that you can play now. There's always going to be that outlier that's the super strong build, and I still think on Barb it's going to be charge. Your 6-piece IK, 4-piece Raycore, standoff in the cube, your straight up charge barb. There's also the boulder toss variation. Then there's Leap Quake, which is still a pretty solid build, although it's never been as strong as the charge barb, and Lawn is still very strong, but you need a lot of Paragons and it's really hard to gear for. With the changes for Season 9 though, Whirlwind is going to be definitely a viable build. So I could definitely foresee it being in the top 100. Whether or not I would see it in the number 1 slot, I think that's very unlikely. So moving on to Crusader. no surprises here. With the buff to the Faithful Memory, Hammerden is doing really, really well. It's all over the place on the PTR solo leaderboards. And the Lawn Bomb our Crusader is still very, very strong. I still think it will be the strongest build for Crusaders, but it is nice to see that Hammerden is going to be available, and it's something that hasn't been played for a while, and so it gives you the opportunity to play something different outside of Lawn Bomb. Demon Hunters are still playing the grenade generator builds. There was also some buffs to the Marauder set, so the Marauder set with the grenade generator stuff is also doing very well. So there's multiple variations that are utilizing this Helltooth or Hellcat Waistguard for the grenade damage, and it's giving you something else to play. That being said, Lawn is still available. It's still probably going to be the strongest build for Demon Hunters. But like I was saying before, there's a lot of different things you can do for all the classes. So that is one nice thing about this cycle and the PTR cycle that we've been dealing with or experiencing for the past couple of months. With Monk, Monk has stayed relatively similar, but it was also in a great state to begin with. So we've got Shenlong's Rainment 6, and we've got Uliana's, which is the EP Monk, and now we're seeing variations using the Inna's setup with the buffs to Inna's, and also fixing some of the bugs that were in place from before. I have been reading the forums, and there still are a couple of bugs with the allies that were reported recently, so I would expect to see some fixes for those coming before the end of the season. But those would be all minor fixes. As you can see here, we've got the 6-piece Inna's setup with EP, and then there's another variation that is Inna's Enrainment with the Shenlongs, so a generator Inna's setup. I do not think either one of these is going to be stronger than R6 Shenlongs, which is the current strongest Monk build, but gives you a little leeway, a little variation in the gameplay if you want to switch it up and you've been playing Monk for a long time. On the Witch Doctor, like, saddest news, right? Even because the Lawn Witch Doctor looks so damn good. And as of this point, I check the forums every day. I check Diablo fans every day, hoping and praying that we'd get some love for the Lawn Witch Doctor, and we just haven't. So it is not in a place where it's pushing high or it's the highest build. So it's looking like it's going to be Firebats, Arakirs, with Arakirs getting a very minor buff through this PTR cycle. And this is also going to be the setup that is used in the 4-man, with a little bit of variations here, not using Unity, obviously. Gargantuan is still a solid build, and you can play it. If you enjoy playing Gargantuan, it's still going to push very high. Not as high as Firebats, but it's a fun build. Pet builds are fun builds to play. And as we get any news on the Lawn Witch Doctor, I don't think that this Witch Doctor is dead forever. I think it was an unintended power spike, obviously, that was attributed to a very, very cool build. So I think it's very likely that Blizzard will fix this in the future and make that a somewhat viable build, or at least a variation of it, but we're not going to see it for Season 9 outside of the crazy last-minute update to the PTR. And with the Solo Wizard, Firebirds, still very, very strong at the top of this list. 6-piece Firebirds, Chandotos, main hand, offhand, with Compass Rose T-Pledge and the Halo. But there are a lot of the new Lightning Electrocute wizards. Now, in a previous video, I said I didn't know much about this. I got some feedback from another YouTube user, and he has created a bunch of test videos. He's done a ton of testing on wizards on this PTR cycle. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the bottom of the page if you're interested in playing wizard and want to see the gameplay for this Electrocute wizard, taking advantage of the Menald heal, this change that created the lightning wizard that they had talked about at BlizzCon a little bit. Hop over to his channel, check out some of his runs. He's done all kinds of wizard testing, and I really appreciate him jumping in and throwing comments in and letting me know a little bit about that, because as I said, I never really play wizard, so it was nice to see some feedback where I got a little more info on these builds. And that's pretty much it in regards to this stuff. I'm not going to go over two or three players at this time, because I don't think that that's going to change much either. And there's also a lot of variation in there, looking at even the current seasonal leaderboards. But I do want to talk a little bit about what I would expect to see for next week and my progress on the current season. So for next week, I believe the patch is going to drop on Tuesday, as I said earlier, and that's going to give us some time for the Darkening of Tristram event. If none of you guys have played the Darkening of Tristram event, it's pretty fun. The nostalgic, 2D graphic stuff that they did looks really cool. I've gone through it on the PTR. I definitely recommend that you do it with a brand new tune. Don't put any paragons in it. Put it up to master. Something that's a little more of a challenge than sitting at normal, and run through it and experience it. It's only going to take you a few hours, so if you're going to hop on in between seasons, clear out your mailboxes, get your stash ready, clear out your stash, whatever it is that you like to do in between seasons to make sure that you don't lose any of that awesome loot that you got from the previous season. And then just take a few hours and go through the Darkening of Tristram event. It's really cool and nostalgic, and for the 20-year anniversary, it's worth at least checking out. Then Season 9, starting on Friday, January 6th. Super pumped about it. It starts at 5 p.m. PST in NA, and I think it's going to be a good season. I think we're going to see a couple of things that come out that we weren't expecting, especially early when the 4-man meta isn't like 100% solidified, and any of those wild, crazy builds that I was talking about earlier, where the groups have found them, but they didn't run them through on the PTR, so you didn't see those things. As we see them, I will definitely keep you guys updated. I hope everybody had a great Christmas, and I do want to say once again, dude, lots of love for the channel. It's been great, lots of support. Thank you guys so much. Remember that you can come check me out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Dropadooski. I stream Diablo 5 days a week, typically, with the oddball being on Fridays. Sometimes I play an alternative Blizzard game, so Hearthstone or StarCraft. I'm going to do a StarCraft stream in between the seasons. I've never played any StarCraft before, so some of the guys in the stream want to see me derp around in that game. For this current Season 8, my personal goal was to get a 90 down, and I did get the 90. So, as of last night, I was sitting at rank 12 on the Barbarians solo leaderboards. Super, super excited about it. And next season, I want to push even higher. I think I'm going to be playing some Monk next season, so I'll be Monk in the groups to keep that variety that I talked about earlier, to switch it up. Instead of playing support Barbarian, I'm going to play some Monk, probably do some pushing with the Monk, but I'll also level up a Barbarian as well. So thank you guys so much. Looking forward to Season 9. And remember, if you have anything that you want me to build or any guides you want me to do, let me know. I'll get a video out for you as soon as I can. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys at Season 9. Peace.